Welcome back to the Pin Pals podcast. I am your host, Eric from Warrior Pins. Appreciate you tuning in. This is the 39th episode of the podcast. Mind blown. It's also the last episode of season 3, so take that as you will. But we got lots more fun stuff planned for season 4 and beyond. But anyways, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or any other audio podcasting platform, please be sure to like, follow, rate, review. Anything you can do on those platforms can and will help the podcast in the long run. And if you're watching on YouTube, I appreciate you. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel and you're liking and sharing the videos and maybe leaving comments with your favorite lessons learned from the episodes you're watching. Shout out to my Buy Me a Coffee supporters and everyone in the Discord server. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for being real and always holding it down. Now this episode that you're listening to right now features a great interview with Max from Reiter Design Co. He's a pin maker from Colorado, and we get into some interesting topics. We talk about so creating multiple variants for his pins. If you go to his website, which link will be in the show notes, he's got all these crazy variants for a bunch of his pins. So we get into how he kind of figures that out and all the different color schemes, what works well, what doesn't work well, what you have to keep in mind, stuff like that. He utilizes Facebook groups, which is pretty surprising still nowadays, at least for me. Speaking as someone who deactivated his Facebook account. What else? We talk about launching non-pin products like Ita bags, skateboards, and stuff like that. Max also shares some great advice for new pin makers. There's a lot more in this episode, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Enjoy the 39th episode of Pin Pals Podcast, and remember, it's the little things in life. Peace. Welcome to Pin Pals, Max. How's it going?
It's going good, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, hell yeah. This has been a long time coming. It's great to finally sit down and talk to you. I'm excited. What's going on, dude?
Oh man, I'm just chilling. I just got off work for the day. So I work a day job right now at a printing shop doing pre-press and graphic designs for them. So yeah, man, I'm just chilling. Just got home, relaxing, just ate some dinner.
Ooh, nice.
I've been looking forward to this forever, so
Same here, man. Same here. To tease the listeners or the viewers, anyone watching, Max and I have been talking for a while, and we actually had planned to do this episode, I don't know, back in like August, sometime during the summertime, but stuff happened, life happens and whatnot. But you guys want to stick around to the end because I have some packages that Max sent.
all
And we're
sorts of
gonna
good stuff.
Yeah, it's been so long that Max himself forgets what he sent. And I don't know what he sent. It's going to be awesome. So make sure you stick around to the end. But let's just get right into things. So you mentioned that you're a graphic designer by day, pin maker by night.
Yeah, sort of, something like that. They kind of cross over between each other. So my day job consists of working at a print shop, which is not quite as much graphic design as much it is pre-press, setting stuff up to get printed on fancy digital printers. But yes, I do that during the day, and then I do a lot of freelance design work during my free time. And that kind of trickles into the pin stuff. Excuse me, let me get a drink here.
All good. That's pretty cool. Okay, so you have a background. So you probably did you have this like graphic design background before getting this like job at the printing press? Like, is that kind of
Yeah. So I went to college for graphic design.
cool?
Oh geez, when was that? 2014 through 2016.
Okay.
Up in Minneapolis. And so my dream has kind of always been to have my own design company. And I didn't even really get into pinning until maybe like 2 years ago or so, a little bit over 2 years. One of my friends from Minneapolis was like, yo, dude, you got to get into pinning. Like your designs and stuff would translate great into pins. And I was like, oh, what are pins even about? I never even heard of pins. And he sent me one. Who is it by? A Chris Dyer pin. You ever heard of him?
It sounds familiar, but
He's pretty big in the festival scene. His stuff is really trippy, like really crazy line work. So it was a dude skateboarding, and you can see I love skating. But so I got that from him, and I was so intrigued by it. I was like, "Yo, dude, this is crazy! You could make so many crazy designs." I've already got a catalog of so many designs, but once I got that from him, my ideas just started running wild. I was like, oh, dude, we can do so much crazy stuff. But yeah, that was really the start of the pins for us.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. So was this like? So this must have been like pre-pandemic or during the pandemic that you started making pins or pinning, as you said.
Yeah, I would say probably about then. Maybe just a little bit before was when I started getting into it. So when I started getting into it, it was way more generic. Our first pin, there was 100 pins. There was only one color of it.
What was your first pin?
Here, let me grab one. It was the Dabin Bowser Black Trust. I think I got one left.
Would it be in your sold out section of the website?
It might be, or else it's probably way at the bottom. So this is like when I first started, I was more interested in doing more like fan art stuff because I saw it as a better opportunity to get, people's eyes on my artwork. So it's like Bowser and Blastoise from Pokemon, right? And then the water cannon on his back is like a nail.
Ah. For
But
anyone, yeah. It's how would you describe it? Marijuana culture. Gotta love it.
yeah. We live out in Colorado here, so it's more widely accepted. I guess could say.
Yeah, no, it's the dabbing. It's
Yeah,
we'll save, we'll save that stuff for another podcast. But yeah,
but
back
anyway,
to the first pin. Yeah.
So what really my idea was to use fan art to get people's eyes on my art, because I was having a really tough time growing my audience with original artwork. As you can imagine, a lot of people do who don't have a base for themselves. There's a ton of people out there on the internet sharing designs. It's a very tough, I don't know, community to break into, So yeah, I saw that as an opportunity, and what we did, maybe our first 2 or 3 pins around designs that, one was like Mario and Mega Man crossed over. You got the Bowser one. What else did we do? I can't remember. But anyway, yeah. So once we had a few people, a following started, then I started transitioning out of that kind of stuff. I'm like, all right, now we're gonna go to more original artwork. And it's actually worked very great.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that was one of a lot to unpack with your answer, but one of the cool things that I saw just based off like chatting with you, checking out your Instagram, which is the grid is the aesthetic is well done, but like it's a lot of like original stuff. I could tell, yeah. Like I'm just naturally gravitate towards like good design, like that stuff is appealing, and I notice it and whatnot. But I saw that your stuff was a lot of original designs, or at least I've never seen them before, so it was really cool. So it's surprising to hear that you started with fan art. I guess you knew you had experience, being in the design world. You kind of knew that like fan art sells a little bit more, but the way you kind of approached it was like a strategic thing, a little bit of your style with the fan art, and then you just, after X amount of releases, slowly faded away from that, and just now you're pretty much like all original design stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I can't even remember the last thing that we made was a fan art. I was just thinking the other day that we should make something just to kind of kick it back. But yeah,
that's
really
pretty
all
cool.
original stuff. Another big thing we've been trying to focus on too this year, as far as like originality, not just for myself, but is working with other artists as far as like collaborations. Trying to do stuff like where we're taking drawings and passing them back and forth. Someone draws half of it and passes it to me. I draw the other half. That I pass it back. They revise it. It goes back and forth 6 or 7 times, and you end up with something that's you never would have thought of.
Oh, so. That's pretty cool. That's a fun way to. I don't know. It's like an ad lib, but for drawing. See where it goes.
Totally. Yeah. It's fun to like have like draw something, give it over to somebody else, and then they kind of turn it into their style.
Yeah.
So it definitely keeps it super original.
Hell yeah, I love it. And I get flashes of like. So I'm a big Ninja Turtle fan, obviously. So like I think about the workflow between like the co-creators Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. They would just kind of alternate between the penciling, the inking, the lettering, the coloring, and all that stuff. Where a lot of their stuff is just like mixed and mashed, and you can kind of tell who's had more influence over what
Yeah.
process and stuff like that. And it's just really cool to see how these characters kind of evolve by the two of them adding like their own paint strokes here and there and whatnot. So that's kind of cool, and it just helps keep the creative juices going. So,
Yeah,
um,
totally. And not only that, dude, but it also helps grow each other's audiences. I've had a
hell yeah,
handful of collaborations so far that once we start like teasing the pin, or we'll do like stickers or t-shirts sometimes. Here, this one's actually a collaboration we just did. But once we start like, leaking stuff out, you see like mass influxes of people joining your group or coming to your Instagram. So it's like we're all just helping each other, right?
yeah. Well, at the end of the day, yeah, 100%. So, your first pin, that Bowser dabbing pin, um, did you have like an audience already for it? Like, how did you go about trying to sell
Oh
it? What was that
man.
process like?
So actually, a lot of our stuff, our sales come from like all online, dude. I don't really do any in-person sales. I know that you're a fan of going to like pin expos and conventions and stuff like that, which I love too. Um, but as we kind of said before, like when I was starting to get into the scene, it was like pandemic time, and so there wasn't a huge opportunity. And I'm from the Midwest. I live in Denver now, but I was living in Iowa, which the art and design scene in Iowa is not like crazy popping or anything. Nothing against it, but it's not as
I got
wild
you.
as some
It's not
other
New York.
places.
It's not
Yeah,
L.A.
exactly. So a lot of it was all just resorting to like Facebook and Instagram marketing, which really Facebook is our biggest one. Our Facebook group has grown like crazy fast, dude. It's cool.
Really?
Yeah. Are you in our Facebook group? I'm not sure.
Dude, I just deactivated my Facebook account.
I get that all the time, dude. I'm like, you on Facebook? And people are like, oh, no, I don't use Facebook. I'm like, oh, shit. That's all
It's
right.
tough, but I
It gets
know
hard.
that like I know Facebook groups are a thing and they're thriving,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
especially within like the festival pin
Yeah,
community, I've
yeah.
seen
That's where
that
it's huge.
be a huge thing. Yes, talk to me a little bit about that and what that world is like.
It's very interesting. So I'm not personally a huge festival guy. I never grew up going to festivals or like going to a lot of live music or anything like that. Um, So it's never been something that like drove me crazy wild to go to, go
Yeah.
party at like go festival or anything. Um, so like really when I started getting into the pins, I was more interested in the festival like type pins, that type of community because it seems like the artwork is just way more originality. I don't know, I found. And the artists are doing a lot more crazy stuff with their pins. Like here, let me just show you one. It's just like
Dude,
insane.
crazy doesn't even begin to cut
Dude,
it. I feel like these
insane.
these festival pin and I don't want to
This one.
categorize it into like festival
Yeah,
pins,
no, I wouldn't
but
either.
like yeah, that's exactly what you think of. You just
They're
think of
just
like
nuts, dude. The detail's
intricate,
crazy.
crazy details.
Yeah,
What is
some
that?
cool
Rainbow
stuff.
plated too? That looked awesome.
Yeah, it's got the anodized plated, which that is huge that I've noticed in like the people who like the festival scene people, like they all love the rainbow plated stuff too, which is like most of the crowd that we have like accumulated because that's like what we're doing is way more original. We're trying to do more intricate stuff. I found that that always sells better. The more crazy
Interesting.
detailed that you can go with it, the more people are intrigued by it. Um,
It does translate well into like a physical medium, like that kind of like those kind of styles and that aesthetic. It especially with like a soft enamel pin, you can get all like the
oh yeah,
grooves and the
and you can
rivets and
feel
stuff.
it. You can hold it. It's so cool as opposed to like having a print on your wall. Like yeah, prints are cool or like a big painting's cool, but like when you can hold it and feel like you said the grooves in it, or like if it's got just insane line work, you're like, well, I'm just gonna wear this on my shirt or something. Like you don't
Yeah.
really get to wear your artwork around.
So talk to me. So okay, another cool thing that like I loved about your shop is your approach to like variants and creating limited edition colorways and stuff like that. What's your strategy behind that? Like, where do you get the inspiration to come up with these like colorways and stuff like that? Because a lot of it's just like wild, man. So cool.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, so I don't know. I always have trouble narrowing down the variants because like I always design in black and white first, just to make sure it translates into a pin. Because the way the cells are all set up. If you've ever do you ever design mini pins?
As less than an inch is the smallest one I made.
Gotcha. But you understand the concept of how all the
Oh yeah,
cells
yeah.
they have to. A lot of people who like don't like aren't like natural designers have trouble grasping the concept of like, dude, you have to have vector line work so it can all be split apart.
Hmm.
Um, excuse me. Um, sorry, where was I going with that? I lost my train of thought there.
No, I'm just like the strategy behind just creating all these different variants.
Oh,
I'm
yeah, yeah. So I always design black and white. And then what happens is I end up making a million variants. And like I just have a bunch of colors, like because once you get done with the artwork, it's like, oh, now what can we do with this? There's a million different, yeah. Like a big one for us is always like Skeletor. We do a ton of Skeletor variants for Masters of the Universe.
Hell
Or
yeah.
else a lot of times I'll kind of like look at what the design is and just think of like what would a colorway be related to that, so like we got one that's like a strawberry that's like a skull. The skull is like a strawberry, and so you have like one where it's like all red and the inside of his eyes are kind of like light green. I think that one might be in the sold out tab, but yeah.
Yeah, no,
uh,
these are really cool. I'm looking at the Up in Smoke one.
Oh
Um,
yeah, and then the anodized too. So that one is like the anodized and the pastel I've found. So like that purpley pastel base.
yeah.
Um, those are just always like the best sellers, the hardest hitters. So I
Huh.
I try to always make some of those of whatever design we're making, even if it's not really relevant to the design.
Yeah,
People
no,
people tend to gravitate towards it,
it's a nice
especially
colorway.
especially the rainbow plating. People will go crazy for that one.
Yeah. So, how like do you have any issues with your manufacturer when it comes to like producing these? Because it seems very intricate, like just making sure you got all the colors correct and stuff like that. Like I'm looking at the I might be pronouncing this wrong. Diamondite
Oh,
throne.
the Dymanathrone. It's
Yeah.
that one is this collaboration that we just recently did with Blue Ray. She's up out of Michigan. Her name is Rachel. And so that is like our reference is like we were referencing like a biblically accurate angel, and that then passing the design back and forth, and so that's where that design comes from. Um, but yeah, dude, we really don't have much trouble with our manufacturer. Usually right here.
Wow. Geez, that's a lot bigger
Oh
than what I
yeah,
thought it was.
they're huge. They're huge. They're like I think they're 3 3/4 inches big. Um,
Phew.
so like it gets they get up there when you start getting more detail. Just because like you said, once you get so tiny, you can only go so small. Um, but yeah, man, we had to weed through a couple manufacturers when I first started. But I came across this one lady. I don't know. We've been working with her for like at least a year and a half. And she crushes it. She actually says when we got in contact with her, she was like brand new, like setting up like her own kind of branch of. I'm not sure if you like know how like the manufacturer stuff all works over there, but it's like
Talk to me. Explain it. Give me the lowdown or whatever you feel comfortable sharing.
so a lot. They really all kind of work together. Like there's only a certain amount of people that do certain things, and then there's like a lot of them are really just reps, right? Having their own like branch that they're trying to start up. I don't know if you call it a branch exactly, but so it's really the biggest thing is finding somebody who is like has good like conversation skills, because like they all talk Chinese, you know. So make sure they're like good at understanding English, because if they're not, it's really tough to communicate when you're trying to make changes.
Mm-hmm.
Or can you switch this around, blah blah blah. It's like if they don't understand, they keep getting it wrong, and that's super frustrating. Or that'll like the pins will show up at your doorstep and they'll be wrong, you know, and that's nothing worse than that, because it's like, oh, we're gonna, wait 4 weeks to send them back and get them remade.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, so we weeded out a couple, and she's just absolutely crushed out of the park, dude. She said that we were her first client, and so she's like, yeah, so she's like treated us with like the highest dignity.
Hell yeah.
And we're super fortunate to get to work with her, because she's got super fast turnaround times. Every once in a while I'll go out and get quotes from other people and compare it just to see what everything's looking like, and she normally crushes everybody else, so I'm really not complaining. I have heard quite a few people lately complaining about the prices of their manufacturer costs, and I just kind of sit over here like, you know,
Yeah.
we're doing all right.
Hell yeah. You love to hear that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, that's funny. One of my manufacturers who I've been working with, I kind of work with two. One's been my legacy
That's a good idea.
manufacturer, and another's just been like, gotta have my options, like
Test
gotta
out
have a
new
couple options
people
ready to go and stuff like that.
always.
But like they're not only continuing the conversation immediately through email, but every now and then they'll like Instagram DM me
Oh
and just be
yeah.
like, "Hey, what's up?" And it's like they'll send me production photos through there sometimes, and I'm like, "All right, this is cool. Like I can totally tell like you're really trying to like keep my business and stuff like that." Like
Yeah.
these manufacturers, a
But
lot of the
see,
times there are bots and stuff like that, but they're really diving into the community and like they're really trying to like win your business. Like it's
dude,
crazy.
seriously, there are so many of them. Like, so through advertising through Facebook, I get like tons of direct messages from manufacturers like, please let us give you a quote. And like, dude, they are so freaking persistent. They'll message you 1,000 times. You say mean stuff to them, and they'll be like, oh, please let me give you a quote.
Sometimes I'm like, all right, go for it. See what you can do. But a lot of it, I want to
I
touch
feel
upon that
bad.
first point. It does come down to the communication and whether or not they can understand you. And we've talked about that before on the podcast, so we won't dive too much into it. But that's awesome that you have that, especially with like your pins, which seem pretty intricate. Um,
Yeah, it was so the first one that we did. Um, if you go to the sold out page, there's one that's like a collaboration with Cody Isbell, and it's like a crab. That was like the most intricate one that we had done at the time, and that was the first like pin that I gave her to take a stab at, and so it was like I was super super nervous the whole time I was in production, because this guy was much bigger than me at the time. I really had like no name for myself, and I was like, dude, this pin could like put us on the map, get us some following. And I'm like sending it out to a new manufacturer. I've never even tested or anything. I was like, whatever, we'll just roll the dice. She's got great prices. Most of her pictures she sent looked good. And the person that I was like using before was failing me miserably, so I was kind of in a pinch.
yeah, get it? Pinch crab.
Yeah, no pun intended.
Waka waka. Nah, you totally did that on purpose. I love it. Let's see. What do you use to design your pins? Are you like an iPad dude, Illustrator, paper and pencil,
Uh, I use Illustrator and my keyboard and mouse, baby.
keyboard and
Yeah,
mouse combo?
you
Old
know it.
school. I love
Yeah, a
it.
lot a lot of times I'll kind of like sketch stuff out and then just like airdrop pictures to my computer. So, like just turn the opacity down and work with that. So a combination of sketching and Illustrator, but a lot of Illustrator.
Nice.
I love Illustrator.
I have a love-hate relationship. Well, it's not so bad anymore, but in the beginning, man, trying to make that pen tool your bitch, so tough.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was trying to figure out how the curvature all works and stuff. Once you
Just
get it
getting a
down,
feel
though,
for it. Yeah, once you get it
yeah,
down, oh man, it is beautiful
you
and
can work so fast,
yep, you really can.
so
Um,
fast.
but I love the convenience and the ease of just like the using the iPad Procreate and just kind of like leaving the computer and just kind of
Yeah.
switching it up and switching your environments. I think that's kind of
Yeah,
helped
I like that
play a
too.
part in creativity.
Oh yeah, I couldn't agree more with that, dude. Like sometimes, so I have the iPad and Apple Pencil as well, and sometimes like if I'm traveling, take it with you, you know, and you're like if you have to fly or something, like you said, it's cool to just be in a different environment, like be able to just sketch on technology, you know.
Yeah.
You don't have to whip out a pen and paper. It's all just
Um.
uploaded straight to the cloud.
Hell yeah. Yeah, for real. It's all backed up into the cloud. Max, if someone came up to you and they're like, I kind of want to make pins, what advice would you give them?
Oh, dude, so I actually kind of tough question. So I used to do a lot of helping other people make pins. I would design for other people, not only design, but I would also, I don't, you call it middleman because I don't give out my manufacturer to anybody, but her prices are good enough that we can normally help people out and still beat other people's prices and, you know, turn times really fast. And so for the longest time, I was helping other people make pins, and I kind of got out of it. I had like one or two run-ins with people that were like super rude and did like some really uncalled for stuff. And so after that point, I was kind of just like, I'm not. It's not even worth the headache, you know. Like we're doing enough making designs and selling pins. I'm a one-man show, so
Hmm.
I'll drop that and we'll pick up a couple more designs a month or something, you know. But otherwise, I would say I don't want to say come to me, but otherwise I would say go on Facebook and infiltrate any large pin group like pin and art world I think is one, or like pin and art marketplace, and literally just make a post. I'm looking for a pin manufacturer, and you will get tons of responses from manufacturers. Um, yeah, I would say check out online resources.
Hell yeah.
Facebook.
There's so many Facebook groups. I remember Pin Nation being
Yeah,
like a
Pin
big
Nation's
one.
huge too. Pin Nation for sure.
And yeah, you make one pin, you make one post requesting a manufacturer, and
You'll blow
rest in
up.
peace inbox. Yeah,
Exactly. Yep, that's all you got to do.
and a
But
lot of the
yes,
times they'll take care of like the like designing. You know, they'll take like your sketch and stuff
yeah,
like that, and they'll kind of do all that stuff. But the thing is,
yep.
you just kind of have to just make sure your communication's super clear, and you got to like double check everything, because a lot of the times when you have someone take like a drawing or an idea and like vectorize or to create like the artwork for it, could be some certain things that like might not
Yeah,
translate or that get missed and stuff like that. So
yes, totally. So one thing that I would say is a big difference between like hiring somebody who's actually like trained to make your vector art like a legit designer and going to just a manufacturer, and because a lot of times they'll give you vectors for free just based you could literally just sketch something on a piece of paper, send them a picture and be like, hey, I want to pin this, and they'll be like, all right, here's your artwork back for free, you just have to buy the pin, you know. But like I've found one of the biggest differences the just the line work. Try and see if you can tell on this one, like the depths and thicknesses of the lines. It's very important for us, you know, to try and keep the detail of like what the actual art is, you know, when you're
mhm.
translating it, especially if it's like based off of, you know, sometimes we'll do collaborations where we are turning somebody's maybe like fine painting into a vector, you know, kind of putting our vector spin on it and then turning it into a pin from there. And so it's like you want to try and keep the certain elements that they have based off of, you know, what does their line work look like, or like all that different stuff. Um, and, you know, a lot of times if you send this to a manufacturer, you'll just get it'll all be 1 point lines, you know, looking
Mhm.
exactly the same, no definition, no thick outlines or anything like that. And it really makes it lose a lot of character, if you ask me.
100%. It's something that I've learned throughout the years, and just and make sure when you're, I mean, that's kind of like a almost like a, I don't want to say it's like a basic design principle, but it's like it's very early on creating depth within your image and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
totally. And a lot of the manufacturers don't really care about that. I've learned too that you really have to push on them because a lot of times they rework your vectors. Even if you send them you can send them Illustrator files. You send them like fine PDFs that they can transfer into whatever, and they'll remake it. And like I said, they'll just make it all like the same line width. I have had a lot of trouble with that working with other manufacturers. I'm like, I'll put it like in the beginning of my email and at the end of my email, do not change the line work in all caps. And it comes back changed, and I'm like, all right, done with you. Goodbye.
Yep.
No more time for that.
Proofs before payment, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
definitely. Always
Um,
double check your proofs. Triple check your proofs.
for real. For real. Oh, and double check your Pantone color codes and stuff like that. Make sure you're picking it out, and if you're not picking it
Yeah.
out, double check what your manufacturer picked out. Because a lot of the
Yeah, keep
times,
that keep that Pantone book on you.
bam, there you go. Um, have you found success on any other like social media platform, like TikTok or Reddit or anything like that?
Dude, no, I need to break into that for sure. I like really all I've focused on is growing our Facebook group for like the last 2 years. And so like really the first like year and a half was all about like growing the Facebook group and like I've worked a day job most of the time that I've had the business as well. So it's like the business funds itself. I don't have to be like dumping in money from somewhere else or taking money from the business to pay my bills. And so it's um, sorry.
Hell yeah, dude! You got 2,600 members in your Facebook group.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, so
Hell yeah.
it's been a lot of time trying to grow the Facebook group, and then like this last year has all been trying to collaborate with other artists, kind of like I said earlier. Um, so probably going forward into 23, it's going to be looking for new avenues of where can we find new people to bring to our group, whether that's like you said, TikTok or another social media, or if it's in person. I'm thinking in person. Um,
What do
living out here
you?
in Colorado,
Hell yeah! Oh yeah, there's probably a huge
a
art
ton of
scene.
venues and stuff. Yeah, all sorts of different shows that you can go check out.
What are you doing to like nurture the Facebook group? Do you just keep posting on there, or like what are you doing to like satisfy that community?
Yeah, so we do a lot in the Facebook group, whether it's me or one of my admins. I've got a couple of really good admins that care a lot about the group. Actually, like the people who are the admins are the ones who encouraged me to ever even start the group. If it weren't for them, shout out to my admins. There would be no group. And so we really just try and keep people intrigued, whether it be like posting teasers of what's the next big thing, if it's
Mhm.
like a new product. We do a lot of like we'll do really crazy back stamps on our pins. Sometimes they'll have like ink and glow even on the back, and so like we'll post teasers of the backs of the pins because like most of the time it's not the full design. It might just be like one key element of the design and then our logos and stuff on the back. Um, so just always posting stuff to keep people intrigued. We do a lot of deals and stuff there too, whether it be like half price pins, like 2 for 1 type stuff. Buy this, get that for a cheaper rate.
Hell
Um,
yeah! Oh
yeah,
man, I just got excited to open up the pins. I love when I
you
see
want to open
pins
them
that
now?
have yeah. Just gonna say I love when the back stamp has like ink or something like that. Like I have a couple that have that. And I don't know how much extra that costs. I've never really explored it. Maybe I should explore it. But I always just found it to be like a nice little
Dude, I feel like it makes them seem so much more like next level professional when you have
yeah.
like a crazy cool back stamp with some ink on it. It's like,
Hell
whoa,
yeah.
the back is a pin too. Or I've seen actually, I think I saw you post something on one of your social medias where it was like the post was on the front of the pin.
Yeah.
It was like Jesus or something.
Well, I guess by the time that this interview comes out, that was so I met up with Pinlord, the Instagram
Yeah,
account
the pin
Pinlord,
lord. Yep.
interviewed him, and he's moving to Australia, so he pretty much gifted me his entire pin collection. A lot of the pins that he's like collected and made throughout the
That's
past
funny.
8 years, and I was digging through it and I found a bunch of those, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they actually made him into the pin lord, but instead of the heart, it's the pin back on the front of it.
That's so funny. Yeah, dude, I thought for a long time I thought it would be really innovative to do something like that too. I was like, what if you could think of a design where it could be functional both ways, or like maybe the post is like technically part of the design, like I don't know, something where like it had spikes on it or something, you know?
I love pins that have like movement to it, or just like I don't know,
Yeah.
just take it to the next level. I think who is it? Steve's McGee's. I don't think he's making pins anymore, but he had a Tina twerking pin, and he needed to like it was like three molds in one just to make that bitch twerk.
That's funny. See, I've wanted to do something like that, but I've refrained because multiple molds makes it so expensive. And I'm like, dude, I feel like if I did something like that, it would just be dumb and stupid, and it wouldn't sell good. I'd dump a bunch of
Yeah,
money into it and then have all these pins and be like,
100%. But that's a dude
what
who had a vision and like saw it through.
I love
Like
it.
I think he went through like one or two different versions of it too, so it might have been double the amount of molds just to get that right. Like that's worth listening if anyone's like
Uh,
curious on how to make pins that move and stuff like that. But enough of that. Let's get into the first box that you sent over. We got two packages. This is
yes, let's see what lies within.
one of two.
Sloppy Joes.
A really big sticker. Oh, a bunch of stickers. All right.
We make a ton of stickers, so everything that we pin, there is 95% of the time there will be a sticker that matches it. And most of the time, I don't really sell the stickers. So when we sell our pins, we like almost always sell them as blind bags, which means you don't know what variant you're going to get. Since all of the pins are different limited edition numbers, the different variants, are different limited edition numbers. If it sells out really fast and it's really sought after, it might be worth like a different value on the aftermarket. So I like to give everybody an even chance of getting the even LEs, if that
That's
makes
so
sense.
cool. Yeah, no, that makes 100% sense.
It doesn't always work out in theory because they don't always sell out, but you know what I mean. So like a lot of times if something doesn't sell out, we might down the road change it to like pick your variant. Um, but otherwise, like like I get into the issue where so many people are like DMing me and like messaging me on Facebook, like let me buy this pin color, and it's like everybody wants that one, and it's like there's only so many. I'm sorry, but it just has to be a blind bag.
I get that
It's
too.
the
I
only way for it to be fair.
100%. I deal with the same struggles. People DMing me for like some of my blind bag pins, and I'm like, sorry guys, got to keep it fair.
Yeah, exactly. But so we throw stickers in with our blind bags to help
Dude,
encourage people to go for them.
these stickers are there's like a raised
Oh
element to
yeah,
them.
you
These are
like this?
nice.
That's a raised
Premium.
a UV spot gloss. Yeah. So
Ooh.
our sticker guy absolutely crushes it. He literally goes by sticker guys. Shout out sticker guys.
Shout out
Um,
sticker guys. These are
Shout out
awesome.
sticker guys. Actually, oh dude, here let me show you. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this because it's on my iPad, but he's making these skateboards for me right now. And it's just a logo board, and this is just a sample for myself that I'm gonna hang on my wall. But the whole thing is spot glossed on it, so like it's got our logo on it, and then see all the X's. Those are all the X's
Ooh.
are raised spot gloss,
Ooh.
so they'll
That
be like textured.
That's like a nice premium looking. Damn. I see myself in the reflection of your iPad.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm super excited to get that. I think he was like dropping that in the mail to me today. So I was hoping it was going to be here, but that's all right.
We'll have a part two then.
Exactly.
Dude,
Yeah, what all's in there?
there's a lot of stuff in here. Holy cow. Oh my god. Holy cow. All right. I'm just going to start holding stuff. Dude, this is like one of everything. Holy shit.
We make a lot of pins.
Love the
Oh,
bracelets.
bracelets. Yeah, yeah. So bracelets is kind of like my take
Fun.
on business cards, dude. I'll load up on bracelets before I go out for the day or whatever I'm doing. And then when I'm talking to people, shooting the shit, giving them the pitch on my business instead of a business card, because everybody freaking throws away the business card. Give them a bracelet. It's got my. I don't think that one has my phone number because that was the first version, but now they got my my phone number and the business name. So here, come follow my Facebook or whatever, Instagram. Give
That's
us a call
smart.
if you have any designs. The business name is the website name, so it's all one and the same.
It all works out. I usually just will rock pins, like extra pins, and I'll just pop one off or something
Give
like
them
that.
to
But
people. Yeah,
I
I do
like
that
this
too.
idea. This is very cool. Oh my god, this pin 88 of 100. This question mark.
Oh yeah, so that
That's
one
pretty rad.
that was one that somebody commissioned me to do. So if you look on the back, Father Tyne, he goes by. His last name is Tyne, I think is how you pronounce it. Um, but so he was what was he's some show with Tipper. You know who Tipper is?
Yeah.
So it was a Tipper show, and so he was like wanted me to make that design. He's like, "Oh, I want you to make a mushroom or a question mark out of mushrooms, just however you see fit. Where the bottom is what is that red mushroom called? I always forget. It's super popular, but
Oh, I don't
whatever.
know.
But
Super
beyond the
Mario
point,
mushroom.
beyond yeah, Super Mario mushroom, beyond the point. And so then I just did the design for him, and he went and got the pins made. And then I bought a couple off of him because like everything I make for other people, I try and get my hands on. I've got like a small board of just all commission designs I've done for other people.
Hell yeah. And like the cool thing is like this is a decent pin. What this is probably like 3 inches, 2 to 3 inches or something like that. But there's like weight to it. Like I've held pins before and they feel light
Oh
and
yeah,
thin and cheap. Like this does not. There's one, there's weight to it, but two, I don't know if you can see this too well, but there's like an impression stamp on the back, right there, which is
yeah.
really cool.
It's like a little spoon or something.
Yeah. That's pretty.
Whatever.
I love it. Okay, let's go on to some of these pins.
Yeah. So that the one in your right hand, that little tiki mask, that was in oh sorry, I might be switched around. But his mouth, so that is our old logo, the RDC. I used to be like when I came out of college, um like I already kind of had a vision for the company, but I didn't know it was going to go into pins. And I was like obsessed with graffiti at the time, and so the it might be kind of hard to read because it's like in graffiti style, which was the trouble that I ran into with the logo. So many people were like, "What does this even say?" And I'm like, "Oh, if you could read like graffiti letters, then you would just
Yep.
look at it and be like, oh, I see." But not that many people, commonly read graffiti letters. So finally, I was like, all right, we need to switch the logo to something way more refined, super crisp now. But yeah, that was the idea behind that one. The logo is his teeth. I think that it glows in the dark too. I can't remember. That
Oh,
one's like,
that's sick.
I think that was the second pin that we ever put out. That one was the only variant.
That one's really cool, dude. I'm getting lost in the sauce right now. This ace.
Yeah, the back of that one's got ink on it,
Oh
and I
my
think
god, yeah.
it glows too. I think.
Look
Yeah,
how
so
cool
that
that one
that
is.
one's a collaboration with Ryan. God, I don't want to butcher his last name. Like Fabrion, Fabrion. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's on
FRF.
Instagram. So a lot of times, dude, what I do when I like look for new collaborations, is I'll just go on Instagram and like I have two different Instagram accounts, a personal and the business one. And so the business one only follows other designers and people who I think make cool art. And I will go and like seek out people who I think make really cool shit and just like DM them and comment on all their stuff, like, hey, come and make a pin with us. Until I get their attention. And then it goes, collaborations go all over the board, man. Like I said earlier, sometimes we pass drawings back and forth. Sometimes I have a concept, sometimes they have a concept. It could go anyway.
I
But
love it,
yes. So I'm
dude.
always trying to bring other artists that don't know about pinning into pinning, you know? Um,
Getting them hooked.
yeah, exactly. Because it's so cool. I think as a designer, like that, I was so intrigued, because I was like, wow, I can like bring my designs to life in a new way. And so I think when other designers kind of see it, they're like, oh shit, they think the same thing. Like I have
Like,
so many designs and ideas already.
yeah, baby, we're grooming the next generation of pin makers.
Exactly, dude. We need to get more people into it.
One
So
hundred
this
percent.
this one here, I want to show you this one. This one that was like that exact concept. I went and found this dude in Barcelona. Barcelona, and so this guy designs playing cards,
Dude,
right?
that's the one I was gonna bring up next.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yo.
He's all geometric, and yeah, so this guy is like known for designing playing cards and like having all these weird geometric like characters and stuff. Um, and yeah, like obviously, like I said, I love skating, man. So like I'm always looking for new skating designs, and I was like, dude, this would be a sick two-piece pin, you know. Um, I
Yeah.
don't have very many two-piece pins, but I think they're kind of cool. It's called Epic Fail, so it's like he's falling and his board's going wherever. He can go however you want.
Exactly. That's the cool thing about it. But I love that geometric.
It's something you don't see in a pin very often,
One
like
hundred
ever.
percent. It's very cool. I got 2 of 35. Epic fail.
Nice.
I
Epic
love it.
Fail.
This was another cool pin too. This one's it might be small in nature, but I
Back
really
up the
like how
ball.
clean the
Yeah, that
back.
one's tatted on me, dude.
Oh,
Back
nice.
off.
The subtle color in the back is just
Yeah,
white.
that one I've
It's
kind of
nice.
had troubles with, to be honest. Like you can see the way that the posts are attached. It looks different than normally, and I don't know why they did that. If it's just because it was so tiny, but I've had a lot of them break. So I kept them in my shop, but I took the price down. And anytime anybody ever bought one, I gave them like three of them. I just loaded them up. I'm like, it's probably gonna break eventually, so we'll just give them a few.
Yeah, it's one of those pins. Ooh,
Yeah.
okay. So we got a couple other cool ones. We'll do this one.
Little mushroom dude. Yeah, so that guy, um,
Rainbow plated with the OE stamp on the back.
dude, they messed that one up. They butchered it. Look at so see on the top how it says the LEXX. Normally, when I send them my artwork, I put a spot on because I give them the black and white version, and then I give them all the other ones, and they stamped it on there. And I was like, "Think, why would you do that?" But
Oh
whatever.
man.
Small
It's
mishap. It was
it,
only that one variant, though. I don't know why.
damn. That sucks. But it's a really cool pin.
Thanks, dude. So that one actually was there's another version of it where it's like he's not dead, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Did I give you that one?
Um I
I honestly I don't
I
even
don't think
remember the
so.
names of my pins, dude. Sometimes
This
there's so many.
was
The
I don't have
mushroom
any other one that
sourcing.
looks like it.
I'll have to send you one, dude. So here, check this out. It was like this guy.
Oh, yeah, I definitely don't have that. That's
And then
cool.
so then it's like this was the one that we released first, and this was like our first really really big hit. That was like not a knockoff of somebody, or like not a knockoff, but like a bootleg designer, if you will,
I got you.
or a collaboration with somebody else. It was like the first thing that was like just an original that I whipped up, and it like sold out super fast. So I was like, oh man, dude, like we're kind of turning into like having a big audience that likes like skeletons and skulls and stuff. And so
Hell
I was
yeah.
like, we're gonna have to make a dead version of him, of course, where he's just a
Speaking
skeleton.
of, oh, we got two more with
Yeah, you'll see, dude. Skeletons are all over our stuff. I don't know what gravitates me to them, but
they're cool, man.
They're just badass.
They look well on pins, but these in particular, man, they look great. It's like hard enamel finish.
Oh, it's got epoxy on top of it. It's got
That's
an
what it is.
epoxy
Okay, okay.
finish. Yeah. And so actually we've done I just gotta show you one here. Give me just 1 second
Yeah.
regarding epoxy.
These are clean. Uh-oh. Taking something off the wall.
So I love epoxy, dude. Like I think that it's just like the cleanest finish ever. It's tough to decide what you want, but like I kind of have recently gotten into doing epoxy windows. So see like you can see the top of the
Ooh.
gumball machine.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see like
Yeah, no, I
that
see
on
it.
my
That's
finger.
cool.
But yeah, so they cut it out and then they just epoxy within there and do like a window. So like this one's not mine. This is just an example of a massive epoxy window. You know,
Wow.
it's kind of cool.
That is very cool.
But yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So what you can do too with epoxy that's really cool is you can screen print on top of it. A lot of people don't really get into that either. Um, I'm trying to think. I know we did one pin that was screen printed. I can't even remember what it was. It was so long ago. Um, but we have a really, really cool new collaboration coming up that's gonna have screen print on it. So
Hell yeah.
it'll be epic.
One of the past guests, Cool Creations, he has a couple like really rad Star Wars pins, where he'll screen print on hard enamel pins, but it'll be like 15 layers of different colors. Like it's
Oh, really?
insane,
That's
100% insane.
cool.
Colors look cool, but he revealed to me like the production cost of it. And I'm like, oh damn, yeah, you're paying for 15 screens. Yeah, I'd expect that. Holy
Yeah,
cow.
that's crazy. The most I think I've ever seen is like 7 colors screen printed, and I thought that was crazy. It was pretty cool though.
Yeah,
It was on top of an all white pin, and then all the colors were like the colors of the rainbow. So it popped like crazy though.
that's so cool.
But
All
yeah,
right, let's get into that second package. There's so
yeah.
many
Let's
good
see what's
stuff.
up.
You're gonna have to check out the Instagram page at Pimp House Podcast. By the time this is out, I'll have posted everything in a nice little fancy photo. So at the time, you sent me another package because this was bleh, supposed to be kind of like a marketing thing where episode would come out and you would announce, like a new pin or whatever. So. Obviously, that didn't work out,
That's
but
okay. It
we're still gonna
happens.
have a lot of fun here. Oh, this is cool. I don't. What is this? Ooh, clean.
Oh, dude, it still can be a marketing thing. I haven't released that yet. Cool. Okay, well, to everybody watching, those will be coming out early 23. The
Think this
hearts
one is
the
that's
hearts are
out, right?
out. Yep,
Okay.
yep. That one's called Till Death.
Wait, this one's till death.
Yep, that one's Till Death.
This is cool. A
Um,
heart. You can see the rib cage for anyone who's listening. Highly recommend you just hit pause on your podcast player and jump over to YouTube so you can see all these pins because these are incredible. But
Thanks, dude. And if you have a UV light too, those ones with the pink base, the color that we use for our pink base is like crazy UV reactive. So hit it with a UV light and it'll
hell
look
yeah.
like you're in
Okay.
a different world or something.
We have two of these soon to be released pins.
Yeah, so that's like fire and ice, maybe like heaven and hell type shit there you got going on. Um,
These are awesome.
Thanks, dude. The silver came out really good on those. They're super, super shiny chrome. Um,
Soup.
is it like glowing right now? It might not be because your light's not UV, but like during the daytime, if you have those outside, the ones that have the white layer on the bottom, or the white base of ink, the white is so like UV reactive that it looks green during the daytime because it just starts glowing like so brightly.
Oh, I got a light right here. Let me just put it in front of it and
But
see.
yeah, the sun really does it
Oh,
like
yeah,
crazy.
dude.
Yeah, they're
Well,
crazy.
yeah, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. I
That's
saw it
okay.
glow. Holy cow.
Okay, get some UV light on them and they'll go crazy.
Hell yeah. Oh, and these are artist proofs too. APs. They're stamped on the back.
Yeah,
That's
so I
incredible.
remember I gave you the artist proofs because I hadn't sorted through the pins yet. So normally what I'll do is when I get all the pins in, I go through and I quality check all of them to make sure they're all good. And then I will a lot of times sort them into like the first 10, not even 10, maybe like the first 7. I'll put the sets aside and then we'll have a handful of sets available. So I was kind of saying about the blind bags, some people are committed enough that they would rather just buy the whole set. And a lot of times, if you buy the set, you save like $20, something like that,
Hmm.
20, $25. But we'll do it, just really depends on whatever the lowest limited edition number is, because if the lowest limited edition is 10, then I'll do, only like 3 or 4 sets. That way there's a handful of them in the blind bags still. Um,
Hell yeah.
yeah.
You're like, I'm curious. Is the artist proof like? So, are you getting like a couple samples sent to you before a bunch of them are
No,
made?
dude. They don't even send me them before. Like that's what they should be doing with them, but no. Like they always just throw them in the box all together and your artist proofs are with your pins and
Hell yeah.
It's really just something for you to keep. Most of the time, I hold on to my artist proofs until everything is all shipped out once the drop happens. So that way, if there's any like shipping mishaps or if or somebody gets something that's damaged, we have some replacements instead of just being empty-handed and having to refund people.
Love it. And the last pin, there was 4 in the second package. I don't know if this has come out yet, but I've just been getting lost in looking at it.
Oh yeah, so that one was a pre-order a while ago. We did like a regular drop of it. It's got the coffee beans on the back too. Um, yeah, are those orange or purple?
These are like a purple, like a magenta
All right,
purple.
cool, cool.
Yeah.
There was one variant that they messed them up and made them orange, but
Oh.
yeah, so we did like a regular drop of that and it sold out super quick and there was like a ton of people demanding more and so I was like, all right, we're gonna make a new variant with a rainbow plating because we didn't do that in the regular one and everyone loves the rainbow. So we opened it as a pre-order for like a week or two and dude, there was a ton of pre-orders. I think there was like 150 pre-orders of that. Multiple people ordered multiple of them. A lot of people use them as gifts for coffee drinkers.
This is
Yeah.
such a giant pin, but it's so cool. It's so clean to the design.
I have a love-hate relationship with giant pins. Like I really I love them so much for collecting them and like looking at the detail in them. It's so cool, but I really like when I first started getting into pinning, I really liked them for wearing them on my hat. So when you get like giant pins, it can be inconvenient. Um, but that's why we got bags. Should we talk about the bags?
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah.
I got one
One
sitting here behind me.
transition into that is it's cool to see pin makers
Sorry.
evolve into going into other different products and stuff like that. Ita bags are a huge thing, and predominantly I've seen a lot of like female pin shops make them, and they're cute, very colorful, a lot of like Disney focused. That's where I've seen it. That's just what I've seen. But scrolling through your shop, I saw that you had Ita bags. Among with like skateboards and like a bunch of other products. Tell me about branching out into Ita bags and stuff that's not pins.
Yeah, so I think the bags was like the first thing that we did that was non-pins. But I mean, it's still pin related. So what it is it's got this clear PVC pouch on the outside. And then there's a little insert that goes inside of it that you can take out here.
Oh, okay.
And then you stick your pins on there. So then once you get your pins, like if you're like walking around, like out in public, maybe you're at a show or something, and you got your pins on you, you don't want it to fall off your hat and you don't want it to get like scuffed up if you brush up against a wall or something. So protected by a nice layer of plastic
Hell yeah.
you can see through. You got plenty of space for like a water bottle on the side. There's a little pouch back on this side. I think we're actually about to redesign them and do a second order. It's just one big pouch on the inside this time around. But yeah, I've been getting a lot of requests to make a new design with it, or some people have been saying make fanny packs with like a clear spot on the top of the fanny pack would be cool.
Oh,
Kind of
that
like
would be really cool.
you'd have to like use a custom bag company that would like you could create your own kind of how it would be sewn together, but I think it would be a cool concept.
That was gonna
Just like
be
the lid of it.
Yeah. That was gonna my next question. Does your pin manufacturer also make these bags, or it's like a completely separate like manufacturer, different process? Like, what's the behind the scenes of making an Ita
Yeah.
bag?
So the bag was the most pain in the ass thing that I've done of my. That's why there's only one right now. It's been over a year since we made them, and it was just such a troublesome process. That's why I haven't done it again. So many people are requesting it. So it's funny. I had no plans of moving out to Colorado or anything at the time. But I was using a company based out of Colorado, like they're like just a couple blocks away, dude. And they were the worst service that I've ever dealt with out of a company ever. Like they were outsourcing the work, so they're middleman in it, and it was going down to a place in Mexico that was like this. I don't even know, a huge textile plant type place. and so like I found out about it by mistake. So like the process was just terrible, dude. So from the beginning, it started out okay. The communication was all right. My proofs looked good. They got back to me in a fairly decent manner. But once I paid them, dude, their customer service went out the window. And it was like, it got to the point where, like, they told me it was going to be like, I can't remember what the turn time was, like a month or two to get these bags in. And it ended up taking like 7 or 8 months. And like, I would email
Damn.
them and call them, like, their phone for, their business phone, none of the phones had any voicemails set up and nobody would answer. So like it'd be like press 1 to be directed to this person. And like I went through every single one, dude, multiple times. No one would ever answer. It didn't matter what time of day, or what day of the week it was. They'd all just there's no voicemail. Beep. They wouldn't respond to my emails, and like finally I get something back from them. Oh yeah, sorry, we've just been really really busy. A bunch of
Damn.
excuses. And then, but when I got the bags in finally, about, I think like I ordered 100 originally, and like 75% of them were trash. Like the seams were not printed all the way to the seams. So like you have a seam right here on this, it would be like there'd be a big white gap, or like the zippers would be like half of them, the zippers were going this way, and half of them, the zippers were
Damn.
going that way. They were like inconsistent where the logo was at. I ripped the logo off this one. Um, but yeah, it was terrible. So I like finally like got a hold of them to try and get them remade, and then it was like, dude, it was the most terrible experience I ever had, like working with another company. So I'm like, I'll never work with them again. So I don't
That's
know.
crazy.
I'll probably start looking for somewhere here soon. Come New Year, we've got one really big collaboration, like I said, that's going to come out, and then we ordered a ton of pins before Chinese New Year will be coming up here soon. So if you make pins,
You
plan
got to
ahead.
think of that.
Yeah,
But
that's coming up
that's
soon.
so like did this company like when you're making
They're
pins,
called
you
the Custom Bag Company. Don't ever use them.
There you go. No, I was saying like
All right.
when you're searching for something like this, did you come up with the design for the bag, or was it like a pre-made design and you just kind of like you print your own like fabric and then they cut it and they stitch it together? Because I've thought about doing the same thing too, but I don't know the first thing about designing bags or fashion or anything like that. So I'd rather just be like, I like that design. Here, use this for this. And was it as simple as that, or did you have to know a little bit more?
It was kind of as simple as that. So, like, to be honest, I just modeled mine off of another companies that I already knew that they made ITA bag, or
Okay.
ITA, or whatever it
I
is,
don't know.
either one. And so like I just kind of modeled. It's not exactly the same, but like I used their base model for the most part, and just like sent it over to the company that I was using. I was like, hey, I want to make something similar to this with my own designs, tweak this here, tweak that there, yada
I
yada.
got
And
you.
then what they basically did is they made up like a um I don't even know what you call it, like a 2D layout version of how the file would look of, all the different pieces that get patched together.
Hmm.
Sent it over to me proofed like that to look at, and then they made a sample, sent me pictures of the sample to make sure it was all good. Go from there,
Cool.
go
That's,
downwards from there.
I'm sure the process for making skateboards is a little bit easier.
Oh, way easier, dude. Way easier. There's a ton of different ways to do skateboards. So yeah, here I got one sitting next to me. This is a new technique that I just recently tried. So
Cool.
this is a vinyl applique, which I was pretty questionable about at first. Like I've rode a lot of skateboards and they get beat up pretty fast. It's kind of hard to tell. Like during the sunlight, this is like has a rainbow finish on it.
Yeah, I can see like
There.
the holographic
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
it's holographic.
So
Um,
cool.
but yeah, so I've been riding this one for a little bit, and honestly, it's holding up like better than a normal printed board. You can get your boards either like done like this, or you can get them. A lot of people will do screen printed, or even nowadays, a lot of it's done just digital printing, straight onto the board. So like this one, that you see like the crab design. You got a
Yeah.
glare, but that one's all just digital printed. So we just use a company. I can't remember where they're out of. But they crush it. They've got super fast turn times. I think their minimum order is like 10 for the price break or something. So they're
That's pretty
really,
cool.
really, dude, they're so hard to sell though, compared to pins. And even t-shirts, skateboards are hard to sell.
So
So
that's interesting because I was gonna ask, like, what led to the decision of making skateboards? Was it just a personal thing? You love skateboards. I want
yeah,
to make my own skateboards, or did you see a trend? Because I don't want to say I've seen or I'm seeing a trend, but I'm seeing a lot of people kind of have skateboards in their shop. Like I think a
that's
couple of my
cool.
past podcast guests are experimenting with like skateboards and I guess using it like a print on demand production center or something like that to make them. But they're hard to sell.
Dude, I have had the hardest time selling them.
Damn.
But I think probably just the reason being is because all my followers are pin followers right now. The Facebook group is mostly all people who buy the pins.
Mm.
Most of my design clients I don't really find on social media. I find that most of my design clients more come from word of mouth, and just like my reputation amongst people I know.
Hell yeah. I
And then
love it.
the pins are way more just like branch out amongst random strangers,
This is so
which
cool.
the design could probably follow that a little bit better, but I can only take on so much at once.
Dude, I hear you, man. I hear you on the one man show struggle trying to do everything and make sure you're putting your best foot forward and stuff like that. It's a lot. So, okay, here, let's start winding down. I'd love to hear some tips, The end of the day, we were saying
Tips.
you get up early, like 3 a.m. and stuff like that. You got a lot on your plate. How do you like reset your mind? How do you just like stay inspired? How do you, keep the drive going?
Yeah, that's a great question. Drink a lot of coffee for sure. Um, I think workout, dude, exercise is like the most key thing for me. Like when I'm not exercising and like eating halfway decent, it makes me get depressed and I find myself not wanting to work or like it just helps you be more motivated, I think, dude. So if you can like do some exercise,
Dude,
it'll
I
do wonders for you.
it will
To
do
anyone
wonders.
listening.
I just signed up for the my local YMCA. They were having like a killer Black Friday deal.
Oh,
So like,
nice.
and I love playing basketball. And they open up really early, and I'm an early person, not 3 a.m. early, but like 6 7 a.m. early. And I'll just start my day by shooting hoops for like an hour or so, and just like feeding off of
Yeah,
that energy for the rest of the day. It's just so good. I mean, the
dude, and
science and the
what so many
endorphins,
people
yes.
don't understand is you don't have to like go just lift weights or just run to be like to exercise to be healthy. Like I love skating and like snowboarding, so like go to the skate park for an hour. It doesn't
Hell
seem
yeah.
like you're exercising, but yeah,
I
it does
I love
wonders.
that. What about
Find something that's easy for you to do. I like, or personally, dude, I bike a ton too. Biking's where it's at.
dude? I envy you out there. I went to Colorado, but all the states out there, or Utah, and I'm not trying to loop in Colorado with Utah, but a lot of those states out there, you find that there's a lot more adventurous people. They're doing more outdoor activities and stuff like that. Um,
But yeah, Colorado sucks. No one should move here though.
That's funny. I was
Yeah,
doing a
no,
lot of
it's great.
research and yeah, hearing a lot of there's infrastructure problems from the amount of people
Dude,
going
oh
out
my
to
goodness.
Colorado.
The traffic is the worst part. So like honestly, that's part of the reason I like to get up so early is so like I work my day job. My shift is like it just really depends. Like I could show up anywhere between 4 to 6 and then get off between like 12 to 2. So like when I do that, I can avoid the traffic, right? And so like I'm across town. I'm on the north side of Denver. My job's down on the south side. And like if you get caught in that morning traffic, dude, it will take the 20 to 25 minute drive and turn it into like an hour because it's just stand still. And then same thing with coming home. So it's like got to get around it somehow.
Dude, I hear you. I mean, I live in New Jersey and have to work into the city, so
Yeah.
like that traffic and just the commutes like out here in the morning. is pretty rough.
Yeah,
But
not fun.
I find it funny how you're just like, don't move here, because that's a from what I've heard, and and you just confirmed like what I've like
Yeah.
heard and read online.
It's
That's
true.
hilarious.
I'm probably part of the problem, to be honest. Yeah.
Um, so I like ending the podcast with this question in particular. I just feel like I usually get a lot of wholesome answers, and it really just, I don't know, it's just kind of cool. But Max, I'd love to know what the little things in life are for you.
That's a good question, dude. The little things in life for me.
Is it popping a heel
Just
flip every Tuesday? I don't
yeah, kickflips for sure. I don't know, dude. I would just say just being appreciative of like what you're going through and what's happening. Because like it's so hard to not look at something and think like that it could potentially affect you in a very positive way when it might seem like really shitty at the time. So I don't know, just like something that really affects my life daily is just try and keep a positive attitude.
Hell yeah.
Don't have negative self talk. Don't be like all angry and a bummer all the time. Screw this, screw that. Just be happy you're alive.
Yeah, man. Things, everyone's situation's different, but I always say things could be so
Yeah,
much worse.
totally. Exactly. Somebody's always got it worse and somebody's always got it better. Right?
Yeah. But it's just like that's the thing that kind of keeps me grounded thinking about that. I'm just like just happy to be alive. It sounds like you just like cherishing the present moment and like being there.
Totally. Yeah, totally. Yeah, just live in the moment. Right?
Hell yeah, man. I love it. That's so cool. So I'm gonna give you the floor. I'm gonna give you the space to give out any shout outs that you have. Let people know what you have coming up in the future and where they can find you.
Yes, definitely. All right, let's see. Let me look at my phone here real quick. I have so much stuff coming up soon. I compiled a big like list of pictures that I was gonna like pull up so I didn't forget anybody. Um, Probably the biggest thing we have coming up right now is we're working with an artist, Kumali. Uh, Forgive me if I'm wrong. I think he's out of Tennessee. I'm not for sure, but he's crazy, crazy, wicked talented. He does like a lot of like fine art paintings and stuff like that. And he's like recently broken into the pin world, and people just go nuts for his stuff. It's so intricate and crazy. And we are bringing. I don't know if I've even shown the front of this anywhere yet. But this is. Hopefully, it'll even look at
Ooh.
it. It's an octopus. Here, I got a sticker of it. This will be way easier to see. And so he painted it, and then we vectored it. But we're gonna have these pins coming out soon, and
Oh,
they're gonna be huge. I think they're like 4 inches tall. There's gonna be screen printing on them. You got all sorts of crazy plating, and they're gonna be beautiful.
that's insanely detailed. The skate deck pre-order page is up on your website.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So
I'm
we have
looking
the
at it
skate
now.
decks up too
Holy
right now.
cow.
Um, that'll probably be down by the time this is shown, because I need to get those ordered. But yeah, the pins are going to be coming. I think that's going to be our first pin drop coming in 2023 is the plan. Come in with a bang for sure. And there's actually right now on our website too, there is shower curtains available. That was
I
something
saw
that I just thought it would fit the vibe. You know, he's a really cool octopus. So you got shower curtains. Um, Let's see what else we got coming up. There's going to be some cool snowboard related stuff coming up, you know, going into the snowy season,
hell yeah.
winter time. And then what else? We're gonna have some really cool new sticker designs coming up. I'm actually, like I said before, I don't really sell my stickers at all right now, but I kind of wanted to start selling them. So we're gonna be doing some fun stuff that's gonna be including like see-through clear stickers, you know, like playing on designs like that. Just trying to show you if you can even see it. This will be like the first one that comes out. So
Oh, that's cool.
it's an ice cream cone, and then the inside of the ice cream will all be see through. So we'll have like sticker packs that'll have like 5 variants, and I don't know, maybe sell them for like $10. So those will be coming soon. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, go join that. It's Reiter Design Co. Reiter. Same thing with our Instagram. Same thing with our website. It's all one and the same. I don't know. I don't think I'm missing anything. Shout out to
Yeah.
all the people that always lift us up. Everybody in the Facebook group right now. We couldn't do this without all the supporters. So
For real.
if you've ever bought something from me, if you've ever even liked a photo on our Facebook page or shared something, thank you so much. It means the world to us. I say us as it's like a company, but it's just me.
No, yeah, I do the same thing too.
I always do that when I'm online. I'm like, come join us, like our company. It's just me.
So cool. The website is writerdesignco.com.
Yep, you got it.
Lots of good stuff. Highly recommend you guys check that out. The links will be in the show notes and everything like that. Um, Max, this was an excellent conversation, man. I had so much fun.
Oh,
Oh,
I got a baseball jersey I wanted to show you too. I
oh, that's
totally
right.
forgot. We'll make this snappy.
No, let's do
So
it,
the grapes, dude, the grapes did so hot as pins, and on the bag we did
dude.
some cool baseball jerseys. This is
Clean.
away, and then there's home too.
Wait, why'd you
Home's
pick
black.
84?
Oh, that was my football number when I was in high school.
Love it.
Yeah, so
That's
it
also
stuck
the
with
year
me.
the Ninja Turtles came out, 84.
Oh, what? That's funny.
Did I get
Yeah,
that
so
right?
I don't
Oh my
know. I'm not a
god.
huge fan.
Oh my god, I think no, 84?
And then
Oh my
so
god, don't quiz me.
if you're ever looking for me vending somewhere out in public, I'll have this on. So this is like branded all out with our company stuff. You got the X's. It's got the orange fade to it. And I've got a couple of these too. So anybody that's like with me when we're selling stuff at shows will have those on. So keep an eye out.
Dude, that's so smart. I gotta do the same thing with like basketball jerseys or something
Yeah,
like
dude.
that. That's
Yeah,
so
get them
cool.
sublimated. They're so comfy too.
Ah, that is awesome. You gonna be selling those in the near future?
So we did a pre-order on the jerseys a while back. I don't know, maybe there might be a Valentine's Day one coming up. I haven't decided if I'm going to do this or not. We'll
Triple
see.
X on the back. There you go.
We'll see. No, it's only two, but that works as well.
I love it. Oh,
Yeah.
Max, I appreciate your time and your expertise, kind of opening the door and letting us peek into your little world of creations and pin making and all that stuff. Um, Appreciate it. I had a great time.
Yeah, dude. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's been a pleasure, and it was even better than I expected.
Hell yeah, man. I love to hear it. We'll have to have you back on in the future. Just to follow up and see what's going on, man.
All right, sounds great, brother. Let's do it
All
again
right,
soon.
man. Take it easy, man. Peace.
Later.